Few minutes, I think.
Meeting is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, folks. Good to see all of you. I hate to break up the party. You can tell when people like each other, man. You can't even start a meeting without breaking up a party, but that's a good sign, I would say. So I certainly do want to welcome you to the Vinton Town Council meeting for this Tuesday, February the 20th, and we will start with the roll call, if you would, please.
Councilmember Lyles.
Here.
Councilmember McCarty.
Here.
Councilmember Stovall.
Here.
Vice Mayor Mullins. Here. Mayor Gross.
Here. Obviously, we have a quorum. I'll ask you to stand for a couple items in a minute, the moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. We use the moment of silence here in the town of Vinton so that everyone has an opportunity to pray or meditate as they see fit. If you choose to pray, and I hope you will, I plan to, I would ask you to keep this community, this country, and certainly this council meeting in your thoughts and prayers. While we're standing, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, and Councilmember Lyles is in charge of that. Who's up?
Bo's gonna have a real easy weekend coming up, so I thought we'd see if Bo would do the pledge for us tonight.
Oh, man.
So,
You don't have to use your shoulder for the pledge, brother. All right, if you'll stand for that, please.
We would like of the United States and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
Good job, man.
Yeah, good job, Bo. Good swing. So, all right. Our next item is community events, and Councilmember McCarty usually handles that for us.
Yes, we only have one. There is a casino night that the Vinton Area Chamber of Commerce is putting on this Thursday, the 22nd. It starts at 6 p.m. and it's at the Vinton Moose Lodge. And that's the only event we have going on right now. But we encourage you to visit our many restaurants and entertainment venues in our community. And more information about each of those can be found on their website or social media. And of course, for more information on everything happening in Vinton, please visit the In Vinton Facebook page and don't forget to like it and share it.
That's right. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. And with that, we'll move to the council activities. Vice Mayor Mullins.
Yes, sir. Thank you. January 13th, Councilmember Stovall attended the Virginia Municipal League Board meeting. January 14th, Mayor Gross attended the Roanoke Regional Chamber meeting, and Vice Mayor Mullins and Councilmember McCarty attended Public Works Committee. January 15th, Mayor Gross attended the Roanoke Valley Allegheny Regional Commission meeting. And January 20th, Mayor Gross and Councilmember Stovall attended the Finance Committee meeting, and all of us attended the work session for the strategic plan just a little bit ago.
You bet. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir.
And it was a good work session too, wasn't it? Yeah. All right. Appreciate that. With that, we'll move on to any requests to postpone or change the order of the agenda. Nope. Good deal. All right. With that, we'll go to the consent agenda. And tonight it contains the minutes of the regular meeting of January 6th to 2026. Are there any changes or additions to the consent agenda?
So move the consent agenda.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I guess you got who that was. Okay, thank you. All right, now the fun part of the evening. We'll have some awards and introductions. So, Donna, if you would come forward for the presentations, please.
No,
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, thank you for letting me speak tonight. So tonight we have two things we'd like to recognize. First, we'd like to recognize an employee that has been a long tenured employee with us. Her contributions to the town are numerous, and we don't really know what we'd quite do without her. So we'd like to recognize Anita McMillan for 30 years of service to the town of Vincent.
Okay.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Nita, I just gotta say, what a pleasure it is to present this 30 years. You're one of the few folks that's been around here, so. But congratulations and thank you for everything you've done.
Thank
for the
you
town of
for your
Vincent.
support. I know 30 years seems a long time, but
It's a long
Yeah,
time.
but-
You're only 29. How
Started when she was 5.
thank you.
Thank you. very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
What we
you.
would do without you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Here, don't go look. You go too far, guys. Oh,
Okay.
So next, I want to speak about the staff who serve the town. The staff who serve the town are deeply dedicated to public service. Their commitment and professionalism reflect the values of this organization and the high standards of service that we strive to provide to our residents. While excellence is demonstrated every day, there are special occasions when we pause to publicly highlight the achievements of a few of our teammates, and tonight is one of those occasions. Each year, the Roanoke Magazine recognizes young, impactful professionals across our region. Honorees are selected through a community nomination and editorial review process and are recognized for leadership in business, community service, education, and innovation. Recent recipients have been represented in a wide range of fields, including healthcare, technology, nonprofit, and local government. The recognition celebrates the individuals whose work significantly contributes to the growth and the vibrancy of the Roanoke Valley. Tonight is my pleasure to recognize two of our team members who have received the 40 Under 40 for the class of 2026. Assistant Director of Planning and Zoning, Nathan McClung, and Director of Cultural Placemaking and Events, Mandy Atkins.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I just found it.
Look where we're at now. We need to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would just like to, your colleagues, if you don't mind, thanking for the recognition of your outstanding leadership, professionalism, and dedication to community service as part of the 2026 class of President. So on behalf of town council, I certainly want to congratulate those of you. And it's really good when the region recognizes what we've known in a long time. These folks are great leaders. Appreciate you, brother.
That happened too, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So again, congratulations to you folks. We really appreciate our staff, and this is just a good example of the quality of folks we have on our staff. So thank you for all you do for the town of Vinton. All right, next item is citizen petitions. Don't see any. And so we'll move on to our briefing for tonight. Chief, you're up, buddy.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. Appreciate the opportunity to get to discuss the police department. You should have two things in your packet, a chain of command structure and, a picture with basically information with the patch that's golden color. The first thing that we'll discuss is one that looks like this. Again, I appreciate the opportunity on this 3-hour briefing that we're about to have. I'm just kidding, it'll be very brief. So the focus for the Vinton Police Department was to establish balance. If you all have the chain of command structure that is illustrated by pictures, beautiful portraits of everybody in the police department, you'll see that we did some movement. The first one was an intentional focus with the corporal rank, what you see in the patrol division. In the middle of the picture, you'll see Trey Boyd, who is a corporal. Did y'all find that sheet?
We don't have.
No, you do have. I think we
It
have.
went out on
Yeah, I
Friday.
got it on.
Oh, okay, got it. We're good.
Paint the picture.
We're good. You want me to, you want to share?
I'll paint the picture for you all. So what we did with Corporal Boyd is we put him in an independent patrol, a floating corporal position that complements both A and B platoon, technically A, B, C, and D platoon. So what you have is 2 platoons that work 12-hour shifts, 24-hour shifts, and then the other platoon comes in. What we did with Corporal Boyd is we separated him so he can work independently with all the platoons. What that does is creates an opportunity for him to work with each independent sergeant. I'll backtrack. If you see on the left part of your sheet, you'll see the patrol division, you see Lieutenant Caldwell, and then you have 4 sergeants. In the middle, you have William Boyd.
He worked 24 hours all the time.
No days off. That was the deal.
Like that.
Yeah, for reduced pay too.
And he has a bicycle.
So the goal with him was how do we complement the corporal position? The corporal position for the Vinton Police Department is your first step towards supervisory role. So our idea behind that, myself and the deputy chief, was to expose him to the 4 sergeants that work to some extent with moderation to scheduling. What that helps with is with vacation, training, schedule, an apocalypse of a snow event that we're supposed to have. You have Corporal Boyd that can fill in the gaps when employees can't come or for unforeseen circumstances. It gets them exposed to the supervisory rank at all levels of the patrol division instead of just being married to one shift and 3 other officers. He'll be exposed to all of them. And of course, it's time management, payroll, and all the other things that are administrative. They'll have an opportunity to learn. Our vision with him is he'll serve in that capacity, and then we'll rotate the other corporals out. It's sort of building an exposure profile, because we all know the best way to learn is really when you start doing it. We're very competent. We send people to incredible training, leadership trainings, but really where you learn how to be a manager and learn how to effectively lead others is when you're exposed to the different personalities and all the curveballs that come with it. So that's our intention with Corporal Boyd, with the patrol division. He in essence works a schedule that's created by him, complemented by the existing schedule that's concrete for the division, for the patrol division. Hopefully that made sense in that aspect. So the second thing that occurred was Corporal Dibble. Well, I'll actually invite up here, Corporal Dibble. Invite you up here. I know everybody knows you, but it's always good to talk about somebody, put a face to it, because we're about to talk about him.
Oh, we want to send him out then.
So Corporal Dibble went through a competitive process for the traffic position for the Vinton Police Department, and of course came out on top. So we've moved him from patrol division to services, where he complements and now supervises the community resource officer as a corporal himself. So we're going to achieve 2 things. One is the capacity of a traffic position officer, and the supervisory part where he supervises another officer and works with the lieutenant to supplement community service event. What you see with that is a sheet that looks like this, and it's in your packet, and you can look at it later if you like, because I'm not going to go off the sheet. What that sheet really is, they're SMART goals. They're goals that are going to be measured by the police department, but we will come at a later date and produce the stats to you all of what's going on with traffic as a result in our community. And that will come in time, of course, because we're only 2 weeks in. With that being said, really, it's the why of traffic enforcement and why we're going towards this route. The key mission, the main mission of this page and the key mission of the police department is always going to be safety. Safety is paramount. Safety is the unicorn that we're always chasing to achieve. So it's always more work to be done. The why really stems from 5 to 6 years of traffic driving behavior. Traffic-related accidents increased in recent years, not on all categories, but the ones that really count have made an impact in this Commonwealth. And those are serious accidents that are fatalities and something that is much more critical that can cause harm to somebody. The sharp curve came to us as a result of the pandemic years. So what occurred in 2021, what you saw was a 14-year high in fatal accidents throughout the Commonwealth. The more important part is that during the traffic-related the years of the pandemic, what you saw was less traffic, so you saw more risky driving behaviors. So we had 4 years roughly of a cultural shift in driving behaviors because there's less cars on the road. While there was less traffic, there was more speed, more risk, more alcohol, and more distracted driving because of emptier roadways. That shift in behavior never really left. It continued with us today, where you've seen statistically everything from risky driving behavior to alcohol consumption related incidences, speeding, have all had a trajectory, or at least fluctuated. And our role in safety is to curb that and stop driving behavior, because it's ultimately how you stop something is you change behavior. So the why is a lot has to do with the pandemic, right? A lot of decreased services. A lot of folks didn't use public transit. They've stayed home remote, or they commuted. More independent drivers. If you remember, you saw an explosion of vehicle sales during the pandemic. You couldn't find a car. That's a result of all these cars in the roadway today. So all these things are contributing factors to why it's so challenging with traffic enforcement, was things that occurred over the 4 years. You had families buying more vehicles. You had delivery services that exploded because of folks ordering online and deliveries. All these things compound because our roads aren't getting bigger, but the volume is getting more dense. So we have an increase of what we saw as risk-based driving as folks have more confidence with less impact on the road, meaning less traffic. And now that there is traffic, we see less patients as well. So the adoption of the programs that we're trying to exhibit with Corporal Dibble is establishing partnerships with the school systems. We have to teach our kids when they're young, teach them safe driving behaviors. Civic groups, churches, anywhere we want a presence from traffic safety. Work with specific neighborhoods, because while the town of Vinton is small in essence, every neighborhood has its own designated problem. Mountain View problems are different than Dillon or Midway and other areas of town. They're all independently different. And while the patrol division can be focused on that, Corporal Dibble can really give a personal service to some of those requests. You also have, of course, data-driven enforcement. We have technology in the police department that we can conduct studies, traffic counts, anything that really can be measured with technology we can achieve, where he can study and find the place where he needs to tackle the most. Because the premise is to show presence and show education and safety. More importantly, as well as partnerships, Public Works has a lot of projects going on, engineering projects that always overlap each other with roadways. Corporal Dibble will essentially be the voice of the Vinton Police Department in some of these large-scale projects, or even little things that involve traffic safety or in the improvement of traffic. You have Safe Streets initiatives that are currently going on for the next few years in the town of Vinton as they study our roadways and some of our high traffic areas and high traffic crash areas, which we do have some here, where Corporal Dibble will be able to be the piece for that initiative and also enforcement. And of course, the town manager's office that gets a lot of feedback from community members, and we can properly give that to Corporal Dibble. We will be able to provide more service regarding traffic requests by residents. Just today alone, I got 3 requests for services regarding problems with streets or problems with just traffic patterns. And complement the community service office during events. More importantly, Dibble will supervise community service as well. So a lot of our events will be held through the community services office, but Corporal Dibble will be able to complement that and offer traffic safety initiatives when we have community members attend our events. And during one of the most recent studies over one of our roadways here in the town of Vinton, what I gathered, an overwhelming response from the community was, instead of the road studies or suggestions through the roadway, was to create more traffic enforcement, more physical presence from the police department. While our patrol officers can do that, they still have their other obligations, where we can send Dibble to focused areas that our public, in essence, is asking for presence. Any questions with anything I have so far?
Very good.
So 2 things, Corporal Boyd moving into a fluctuating position to really promote growth from that first line supervisor rank. You know, we got to prepare for our future, and these guys are our future. They're our replacements. So we want to give them as much exposure, leadership training, and decision making while we're still here, so they can, in essence, replace us when we're finished. And of course, Corporal Dibble will focus on traffic related, because as I mentioned, the problem continues to grow as far as driving behavior. You know, we're all adults and we're all set in our own ways. So it's really tough to change behavior, but we can show a presence in the community as far as tackling projects. That's all I have. If anybody has any questions.
Great job.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Very great job. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Absolutely. Mayor
All
Gross.
right, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say, if I may make a quick statement, I just wanted to commend Chief Drummond and Deputy Chief Lawless on the reorganization. This dates back 6 or 8 months ago. We started having the conversation about traffic enforcement and how we could, more dedicate and emphasize that need in the community. Chief and his team came up with these solutions. But what I'm really wanting to acknowledge is the reorganization of the organizational chart for the department. When Chief sat down with Cody and I to kind of discuss how we envision the department's taking shape, I really wanted to have some feedback to say, well, try this or try that, and I really had nothing. It was well thought out, it was innovative and well executed. So just wanted to acknowledge that. This is really this department's restructuring. This really had nothing other than we knew we needed to make some changes, and this is a result of having really good leadership in that department. So I just wanted to acknowledge the folks for doing such.
Appreciate that, Pete.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Well, thank you very much for the presentation. It's very thorough and informative and actually exciting. And just we were talking about leadership and our great staff, just another example. So we appreciate you guys. Council, did you have any other questions or comments?
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you and thank all of our officers, and be careful out there.
Yeah.
And I appreciate all you do for us.
We've heard, as you very well have, I'm sure you know, NFL and in college, a bunch of openings for coaches. And one of the things that you hear a lot is that I'm a player's coach. And a player's coach is a coach that wants the players to come in as a freshman, graduate as a senior, of course, and go on and play the pros. This right here is admirable to the fact that you are telling everybody that works under you, the 2 of you, listen, I'm not going to stay here that long or longer, or that I'm not going to be here till I'm in my 70s. So I'm making you and I'm educating you so that you can become a leader and take over this department. And that's the kind of people that win championships. That's the kind of people that develop their team so that they can have a championship team like you have at the police department. So this is off the chain right here.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you bet.
I'm good.
Well, I look forward to future presentations as this takes shape and we can present some stats to you all, hopefully we can make a positive impact for our families, our community, because that's really the premise of all this. And of course, building our own leadership development within the police department and expose them to just about everything. To your point, none of us are going to be around forever. I still got a few years left. Deputy Chief's aging out, but I'm still rocking and rolling. He's a month older.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you very much. And Mike, I appreciate your remarks too, very meaningful. However, being around when you're in the 70s is not out of the question.
No, I understand, Mr. Fox. I do.
Thank you, sir. But seriously, that was a great presentation, and we do appreciate that. So with that, we will move on to the items that require action. And of course, we will start with the first item. Pete, I understand you're going to talk with us about easement.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I have before you this evening a resolution for a utility easement to the West Virginia Water Authority. The section that pertains to the town of Vinton, by and large, goes through Gerhart Park. The overall project meanders up Highland Road, Wayne Street, Marlou, and down into the Glade Creek Park. Then this improvement project terminates on Gus Nix Boulevard. This started, it actually probably close to 10 years ago, when we were first redeveloping Billy Bird Apartments, the former William Byrd High School property. We had a deficiency in water quantity to provide adequate fire flow protection for that apartment complex. Through some creative engineering, that was accomplished through some on-site engineering to provide that for the Billy Bird Apartments. However, as we've had additional growth in that corridor, we're continuing to struggle to meet fire flow requirements. And it's just because it's a dead end of our former town of Vinton water system. And it just kind of ends there at Gus Nix before it goes over the bridge into the city of Roanoke. So we had those conversations back then. We were having these conversations about Gish's Mill and about the potential to redevelop that, the Billy Bird Annex, the Sable&Sign/Lane's property. All those commercial projects are going to continue to run into this deficiency. So in conversations with the Water Authority dating back several years, we were looking for a solution to maybe a short-term gap in that deficiency, but then also a longer-term plan. So the longer-term plan is the Water Authority is planning to bring in a much larger 12-inch line in from the city of Roanoke down Gus Nix Boulevard, but that's over a mile in length, a pretty significant investment. They have identified that in their CIP plan, so that is kind of a long-term solution. In the meantime, we have the Gish Mill project that is on track to conclude this year, end of 2026. And in order for them to get their occupancy, we had to have adequate fire flow. So again, in conversations with the Water Authority, they came up with a solution that not only meets the fire flow needs for Gish's Mill, but will also improve residential service to about 40 customers along Highland Road, Wayne Street, Marlou, as well as the 93 apartments at Billy Bird. So we're able to accomplish both providing some residential upgrades, but also meet the fire flow needs for some of our commercial redevelopment projects. So this has been a fairly quick turnaround. It's been in discussions a long time, but the Water Authority really started engineering this in-house back in September. And here we are asking council's consideration for an easement. There's 2 additional easements that are required for this, one with Roanoke County that go through Glade Creek Park, as well as Dave McCormick for the Billy Bird Apartments. Had conversations with Dave McCormick as well as Roanoke County. Roanoke County is doing their 2 readings, I believe, one this week and then one early February. We'll do ours tonight. Dave McCormick, I understand, has already signed his easement. And the Water Authority will next bid this project out, where the cost estimates, Matt and Craig did the 90% design plans is where we are. The cost estimate's just shy of $1 million to do this water grade improvement. And as I said, this is kind of the immediate need, but there's also the long-term need. The good thing about this investment of nearly $1 million, it won't be wasted. This will work in concert with that larger 12-inch line that we put in down the road. So this is a good improvement, good use of funds to meet current needs, planned growth needs. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have about the project, but I think it's otherwise self-explanatory. We have a deed of easement here that has been prepared by and reviewed by he's not prepared, but he's been reviewed by our attorney. With your consensus tonight, we'll move forward with assigning the easement and getting the Water Authority underway on bidding the project.
Okay, thank you, sir, very much. Jeremy,
I was just going to add, I asked Mr. Lockaby to review the deed. He's the one who actually reviewed it, our recently appointed deputy town attorney, because I also do work for the Water Authority, so I thought it best to get Mike to take a look at it just to make sure it's a standard
our
form they
deputy.
use, but I wanted to let him take a look at it.
Great.
I will also add, we anticipate this project to be awarded late winter, early spring. It's probably a 5 to 6 month construction window. If things go swimmingly well, we would anticipate this project to be done well in advance of Thanksgiving and certainly meet the expectation for occupancy for Gishas Mill when it's completed.
Awesome. That was going to be my only question, so I appreciate you covering that. Great. Thank you very much for that information. Council, do you have any questions or comments for Pete? Nope. Obviously, sounds like a great project. I'm looking forward to this being completed. And it's, it's one of these projects that, and you guys in public works face this all the time, it's really important, actually vital, but it gets put in the ground and nobody sees it. So kind of unfortunate. Spend all that money, it goes underground, but obviously very much needed. So thank you for that. Okay, Council, if there are no questions, you have before you a resolution for an easement for Western Virginia Water Authority for the Gus Nix water line improvement project. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Lyles, second by Vice Mayor Mullins. Please call the roll.
Councilmember.
Yeah.
Councilmember McCarty,
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mullins,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. Thank you, folks. All right, and with that, we'll move on to our public hearing for this evening, which will be in regards to some amendments to the Town of Benton Solid Waste Management Plan. And so I will officially open the public hearing, and we'll start with a report from staff. So Pete, looks like you're up again.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick background. I don't want to take information away from the presentation, but just a quick background. Virginia Department of Environmental Quality does require all localities in the state of Virginia to do a 5-year update to their solid waste management plan. In essence, this just proves that the localities have a place to safely deposit their refuse and a sound practice for both collection of refuse as well as recycling. That's just so that localities don't get into difficult situations where they have no place to put their trash and they're kind of in a bad predicament. We're fortunate because we're a part of the Roanoke Valley Resource Authority. They have adequate capacity. I guess it's probably a turnaround to both site and get the proper permits, probably a 15 to 20 year turnaround to get a landfill put in place. So you can tell it wouldn't necessarily sneak up on you, but it'd be hard to meet those requirements in some cases. So this kind of where the impetus of this solid waste management plan came into being. There may be some other background, but that's kind of what's relative to us at this point. We received notification from DEQ that we need to provide our 5-year update. We don't have, as you know, a lot of engineering professional staff on around, so we use the services of some consultants from time to time. In this particular case, TRC is kind of the industry standard for environmental permitting such as this, and so I reached out to my friends at TRC, and they gladly accepted the challenge to give us some help to both, one, submit our 5-year plan, but also make some modifications to the plan. And I'll let the team get involved in all those details. But I do have two staff from TRC present this evening, Julie Williams-Daves and Mike Lawless. And I've worked with Julie over the last couple of months getting this plan updated. It's been a pleasure to work with her, and Mike and I have been working together for quite a few years, and he's a pretty good golfer besides that. But nonetheless, I'll invite Julie up to the podium, Mike, if you'd like to join her for the presentation.
Both sides. Good night.
Good evening.
So. Yeah. Okay, so as Kate mentioned that it is required, there's the regulation up there in purple at the top of the slide. You all had your initial solid waste management plan approved by DEQ back in 2008, and it has been updated, or at least certified every 5 years since then. And we made some changes this time that required a public hearing. And we'll get into that near the end of my little short presentation. So there's a little pyramid up there that shows the waste hierarchy. And part of the reason that the Department of Environmental Quality wants to have a 20-year outlook for waste disposal is to keep communities from getting into a bind, as you mentioned, and also to help make sure that we are doing the environmentally sound thing and reducing waste as much as possible, recycling, because localities in Virginia have to meet a 25% or a 15% recycling mandate. And the difference, the amount depends on the population density of the community and unemployment rates. And you all have met your recycling rate every year, outstandingly well. Let's see. So the solid waste management plan considers waste generation rates for a period of 20 years, a 20-year outlook. And we look at your population growth. And the industry standard for how much waste is generated per person per day in a year is 4.9 pounds. And that is from the EPA. So that's a national standard. And it seems like a lot of almost 5 pounds of waste per person per day. But we look at your population growth, and that information comes from the University of Virginia Weldon Cooper Center. And you had growth numbers in your recent comprehensive plan from the town. So they were slightly different, and I wondered if some of them came from maybe the US Census Bureau, and they use different projections. But that population growth goes through 2050, and just over 8,700 is what the projection is supposed to be. And your waste goes up to, let's see, 7,800 tons.
It's a little awkward.
Yeah.
I have really thought I would have my laptop that I could see the screen and it would be projected, but that's all right. So you can see how your waste went from 4,500 tons most recently, based on population growth, up to 78. So that is all included in the plan, and the goals that you have. That is required by the law as well. That you have a plan for waste reduction, and you capture that in goal 1 with your recycling program and the public outreach that you do through the RVRA and Clean Valley Council. They have great litter cleanups and recycling programs, and they are actually the ones that apply for a grant from the state, from Department of Environmental Quality, to use for litter cleanup supplies and education and things. So I knew that that was available, and when I talked to Pete about it, I wanted to make sure you all were getting a portion of those funds from the state, and the Clean Valley Council uses that money on y'all's behalf. Goal number 2 is not something that's on the table for the town at this point, but it has been considered in the past. That would be incineration or waste to energy. So burning the trash to produce energy. And that would probably be something that would require a lot of capital and probably a lot more waste than you all produce. And then goal 3, hazardous waste management. That kind of goes in line with the source reduction aspect of waste management, to keep hazardous things out of the landfill and out of the environment altogether. So there's a permanent drop-off facility for things like batteries and paints, and then the monthly collection events for your household chemicals that your residents are able to use. And then goal number 4, collection, disposal, and efficiency. And you all are doing a great job. Since 2019, that's been semi-automated with the lifters on the back of the Packer trucks. And so your goals are kind of in a maintenance phase, and that is fine with DEQ. So at this point, we didn't introduce any new goals. We're just going to keep maintaining, keep that recycling rate up, and keep using the semi-automated Packer trucks. The disposal capacity, there's plenty of space in the Smith Gap landfill for your waste. In the state report from 2023, when I initially was starting to work with the town and put this plan together, they had 22.5 years of life left, permitted life at the landfill. And there is additional room for expansion. There's plenty of land, plenty of space at the landfill. And now the changes to your solid waste management plan for the reason that we are here tonight. The Roanoke Valley Resource Commission has all of the members of that, they write their own plans. But in the plan, there was a section that was regional and not specific to the town of Benton. And at the request of the town, we wanted to remove that regional section and make it more streamlined, something that's easier for the town to update in the future every 5 years. And when we pitched that to DEQ, they said that was a big enough change to require a public hearing and more than just a letter of certification. And so here we are. But ultimately, this will simplify the plan, and it will be specific to the town of Benton and not the regional entity. The other updates that we made were pretty minor. The data tables for the population, waste generation rates. We did add some details about the recycling efforts to help capture a better waste picture, to help illustrate the goals that you've met. We did include additional programs through the Clean Valley Council and recycling opportunities. And then if those should change in the future, that would be an easy enough update to make in the plan.
Gotcha.
So, do you have any questions about the changes that were made or waste in general?
No? Council, any questions, comments? No?
Mr. Mayor, no questions, but again, just want to acknowledge and thank Julie for her work to get this plan updated. Also want to acknowledge Ms. Acker. I can't take credit for putting all the the data together. She does a wonderful job of keeping that readily available and up to date. So thank you, Jill, for doing that. And I think as far as services go, we always get higher marks for our refuse collection. So thanks to Bo and his leadership to keep that crew operating efficiently and productively. So I think we've got a good plan moving forward, and appreciate the update. Really, to Julie's point, this will be a simpler project for us to manage moving forward in the future. We collect so much data that we can regularly feed back into this. It was the regional stuff that was more cumbersome for us. So by removing that, it's not required, but because it was in there to get it out, we had to have this meeting tonight, as she has said. So I think moving forward will be a more efficient document for us to update in-house.
Great. Well, thank you. It does sound much more efficient. Thank you, folks, for being here.
Thank you.
Good luck with the golf game there. So at this point, I'll ask for any other public comment. Don't hear any. Council, any questions, discussions? Nope. All right, well, we'll officially close the public hearing. Council, you have before you a motion to adopt the revised Town of Benton Solid Waste Management Plan.
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice Mayor Marlin, second by Councilmember McCarty. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles,
Yes.
Councilmember McCarty,
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mullins,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. Obviously, it passes. You know, I might just briefly throw in one of my favorite comments. I just think we are so fortunate here in the Valley to have the, I guess the official name is the Resource Authority, and the plans that, the way all of our refuge is taken care of. It sounds like we are in really good shape, and there's not everyone in Virginia has that luxury. So I think we're very, very fortunate to have that organization and that setup that we have now. It's great. Yeah, thanks. Okay, with that, we'll move on to the reports from the committees and Finance Committee. Tiffany, oh, there you are.
Hello, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Thank you for letting me speak. This is my first time, so bear with me and I'll try to be brief.
We're not going to throw too many darts at.
Okay. I appreciate that. I believe that you have the packet for November. Oh, no,
Remember, they have the one from.
so you have the packet for December's financials, and I will mainly speak to the financial report summary, just to kind of go over some of the things happening with the town's finances. So for the general fund, we had revenues that exceeded expenditures this month of $127,000. That kind of included a 4% increase in sales tax collection for the month of October, because the funds kind of come to us 2 months in delay. $46,000 in sales for cigarette tax collection. And then we also had a 14% increase in interest revenue for the funds that we have in Pinnacle and Bank of Botetourt. Business license renewal applications were issued on December 11th, or mailed December 11th. Those application renewals will be due late February. So currently we have about a projection of bills that have already went out about 127,000. So hopefully we will be receiving more renewal applications in the coming months. For the grant fund, you will see for the month that it was just normal ins and outs of revenue and expenditures. So that fund flows pretty well as we receive in grants that we're supposed to receive and expend as we need to. The capital fund has an increase in expenditures with continued progress at the multi-generational park and the renovation at the War Memorial. We had one less AP run in December, so the expenditures from that were pushed into January. So there's a few large expenditures that technically should have ended up in December, but we pushed it to January due to the holidays falling on a Thursday, Friday. So those are performance agreements for Gish's Mill and Taquerito. And we had a large payment for progress that went out for, that went out for the multi-generational park. And we also received the RC mower for stormwater. Other than that, in order for us to keep the operating account balanced, we discussed in December and then executed over the last week a transfer of about $1.2 million in funds from Pinnacle so that we could recoup some of the expenditures that we're issuing out from the capital fund. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you very much. Great job for your first time around. Very good.
Did
Very
good.
Yeah. All right. Council, you have before you, first of all, any questions? Comments? Nope. So you have before you a motion that would approve the financial statements for November 30, 2025.
So moved. Second.
And also December 31, 2025. Both of them. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right. Oh, looks like you're up next. Man, you got a tough act to follow, man.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. January 14th, we had our Public Works meeting, and a few of the projects that we talked about, we'll start with the existing projects. First one is the Farmers Market Compactor that we talked about putting up. We've got some prices on the compactor. We're working on some fencing. I've just been meeting with a contractor in February, and then hopefully in in March, we'll have a plan on how it's going to work. Give me a chance to talk to some of the business owners. And so it'll be a complete package in. Right now, we're still working on some numbers, but it's looking good so far. Wolf Creek Greenway, and I meant to ask Jamie about this. We've done all the plumbing work and all the connections there, and we're just waiting for some sidewalks. Did they get there? I didn't get a chance to. Okay. Yeah, as of last week, I didn't see them there, but as soon as the contractors get done with the community park, they'll go over to Wolf Creek Greenway and finish in sidewalks there. And then after that, we'll come in and do some final grading and seeding to finish that project up. 3rd Street storm repair. RK&K was on site last week to do some observation and some vehicle counts. They put the counters out. And so that report's supposed to be due to us in the end of January, but it might get pushed back to February due to some on-call contracting things we had to figure out. So hopefully by March's meeting, we'll have a plan on how to fix that road. Downtown furniture, the town's bought some downtown furniture. We started last week removing some of the old furniture and touching up the paint and getting them freshened up. And then also, once we get through this blizzard, we will be putting out some new cans and benches.
Keep saying it, maybe it'll just keep going. Right? That's good.
So, but it's going well. We was able to find some paint to touch everything up so everything blends in. One thing that helps us out on that project is the guy that's in charge of this for us is one of the guys that worked for Renaissance, the company that actually produced benches, so he knows what he's doing. So that helped us out. Mm-hmm. Solid waste plan, you just talked to them. So they did a good presentation. That worked out pretty good. It's a lot of information. you don't realize how much trash is until you go through one of these things. Fuel cards here. We work with finance office. We're ready to distribute them. Everybody's read the policy and signed everything. Cards will be issued out for our guys probably next week, so we can start using them. We do have we have some fuel on site. About probably, well, after this snow event, it might only be a week's worth, but as we figure, it's probably about 3 to 4 weeks worth of fuel left. So we're trying to get through that, and then once we do that, we'll go through a plan to so we can demolish or demolish or whatever, decommission is the word I'm using, the pumps. We thought we had a plan about filling them with foam, and then we talked to a guy last week, and he said it's probably we need to go another route. So we're still working on that. Existing project. I mean, that's existing projects. New projects. Started in February. Public Works are going to work on doing the disc golf course at Wolf Creek. Me, Pete, and Kenny, and what's his name, Dave? Don. I keep on forgetting that. Don, we met on in January, early January, to talk about the course and how it's going to lay out and how we can do some clearing and build some tee boxes and stuff like that. So that's going to be a pretty good project. Disc golf is definitely taking off, and it's cheaper than real golf. In February, we were going to be putting the water line in for the new community park as soon as the snow melts. Public work guys are also working on taking down Christmas decorations. We got delayed on that because we wanted to work and try to get the road opened over on Dale Street to finish that storm drain project, which we're real close to. So now we're in the process of starting to take some of the Christmas decorations down. So we are behind on that a little bit. Didn't mean to. Just needed to get that project under wrap. Sign install. The town bought new entrance signs. We have took the old signs down to prep the sites for the new ones to be put in place. Again, with this snow event coming in, that might delay that a little bit. I mean,
Might not be able to get to the ground.
right, yeah. But once we get to that point, our public works guys will help with lane closures and stuff like that, so they can put the footers in and help that project move pretty smoothly.
If I could just interject there quickly, they're supposed to be in town next Monday and Tuesday, putting in the footers for the 5 signs. So again, if we're under a foot or more of snow, I don't know that that's possible.
Right.
But we'll touch base with them and see.
Yeah. A couple of sidewalk projects that we're going to be starting right there at the intersection of Lee and Pollard, right there where the fire properties is. When they demoed the buildings, they crushed the sidewalk in pretty good shape, and it's in pretty bad shape. So we're going to there's about 25 foot and about 4 or 5 panels that we're going to take out and replace and try to get that done in February. And then also too, down at the Walnut Street parking lot, we're going to build a crosswalk, go from the parking lot to basically right there where the new paved alley is at Lee Street, to give some connection right there. So that'll be done next week. And then a stormwater project that we're going to work on, starting right there at 2nd Street, right there at Cedar, and go all the way down to Walnut. We're going to replace the storm drains through there. We have a starter dry well right there at that intersection at Cedar. Years ago, it was able to hold water, and it would just go through the gravel system and go away, but that's not the case no longer. So we're going to actually pipe that in and run it into a storm drain pipe, and then run it all the way down the Walnut and put everything underground. There's some culvert ditches on both sides of the road on some places, but we're going to do away with that, put piping around and cover it up.
Nice.
And then also too, there's a hole right there at Dunman's, and repair that as well. That's all I got.
Okay. You guys are certainly busy. I do have one question that kind of involves something that Tiffany mentioned. I understand we are buying a new remote control lawnmower. Yeah, to maintain.
Yeah, Pete seen it at a show last year.
What's that?
Pete seen it at a show last year
Oh.
at Public Works, and he won it once, so he got it.
Oh, okay.
I want the new Mustang that the state troopers got.
Oh, man, this is going downhill quick. But I actually got to agree with Pete. I think it's a pretty neat device. If y'all want to talk about that and let everyone know what's going on.
It is. It's going to help us maintain our stormwater facilities. It's hard to get in with some of the equipment that we have now, so we bought the mold control mower and some mats to actually get us out in the middle of that to keep that maintained throughout the years.
Yeah,
Very
nice. It sounds great, yeah.
It's just, it's bigger than you think. You think of a remote control, you think, a little RC car. This thing's pretty large. It's not quite the size of a Volkswagen Beetle, but it's, it's pretty good.
I wouldn't say it's 60-inch.
Yeah, it's every bit of 5 foot, probably 6 foot by 6 foot.
They need anywhere to practice.
That's what.
We got a big old field behind the Craig Center.
Pop up there, bud.
Oh, yeah.
So, excuse me, are you going to up on the second? You didn't follow three.
Oh my gosh, where did I start? I guess we'll have to work on the Mustang.
Yeah, thank you.
Actually, the officer up there at our National Night Out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he had that up there. And it's no more expensive than a patrol car, from what he said.
It's good to know.
Chief would look good in a Mustang.
Yeah.
I'll take one too.
Yeah. I thought, okay, well, thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Nice report.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the town attorney. I don't see anything listed.
Nothing specific, Mr. Mayor. I have Fabricio's group has put together a draft ordinance that I know you're aware of, that bar trespass ordinance, and it sat on my desk a little too long to get it turned around, and I apologize for that, but I've now gotten it back to them, and I know they're going to meet, and hopefully that'll be coming to you pretty soon for an action item. And that's, as a reminder, the ordinance that will allow property owners to authorize the police department to take steps to prevent trespassing on their property. So.
Well, it's certainly busy.
It is moving forward. I just wanted to let you know, because I know it, maybe it was in January you spoke about that, and wanted to see it, or I meant December.
Sure, it's a busy time. I have to say, Jeremy, you actually did not promote marital bliss in our household this evening.
I apologize.
See, I told my wife, I said, man, I'm going to compete with Jeremy. I'm going to get a spiffy tie. And I put this on, and she said, you didn't get a spiffy tie. So, anyhow, best I could do on.
I think it looks great, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Yours too. All right, Mr. Town Manager.
Yes, sir. I got just a couple of quick updates. I just want to acknowledge how quickly you've all probably seen the hotel, how quickly it's evolving. When I left work on Friday, we were at 2 floors. When I came to work today, there's 3 floors. I don't know how they do a whole floor.
It's amazing.
Over a 3-day weekend.
The test one that he said it's going to go up really fast, and then it's going to start crawling again when they start on the inside.
Yeah. Yeah, because we won't be able to see.
Yeah. Go up really quick. You'll be surprised how fast it'll go up.
Well, they better get that 4th floor done before Saturday.
You better get that done in the roof on before.
Yeah, we might not find it.
I've been in here since 4. It could be done.
You never know.
I just did want to point out the tours that I put on your agenda to attend. We have one for the War Memorial renovation coming up February 3rd. That's progressing very, very quickly. The demo phase, I should say. And the reason for the tour is to get you in there when it's looking its worst. We're kind of at the throes of demolition at this point. So we wanted to get you in there to safely see kind of what it looks like at its worst, I guess you could say, before they actually start the rebuild. So that's coming up. If weather permits, if it's thawed by then, we'll also do a brief tour of the park that same evening. We've made some, the parking lot is paved there. We're doing one last pour of concrete for a section of sidewalk. Once we got up there, we built it to plan. It kind of made sense to do one more leg of sidewalk to kind of make a logical walking trail around the park. We kind of see that as being a nice benefit. And we added additional light. We had a little bit of a dead spot in the park. It wasn't well lit overnight. And so we've made some adjustments there. One of the bigger things is we've been waiting on us getting some cost estimates to do some turf installation rather than have these smaller pockets that's going to be labor intensive to weed eat and blow the clippings and stuff and getting equipment in there. So taking that extra step to, one, I think it'll look good, but also be less maintenance. And one of the primary goals, obviously, to have a park that people would use is have a park that we can maintain fairly easily. We didn't want it to be labor intensive. So that additional turf hopefully will accomplish all those fronts. And then the next tour will be the Gish's Mill tour and I think that's March 3rd. We are kind of in the last stretch of that renovation project. That's a long project, obviously. They've been on site for almost a year doing various stages of stabilization and then starting the rebuild. So I'd say we're roughly about a halfway point. We took that tour March of last year. I don't know that any of us will forget it because we were doing the Gus Nix demonstration at the same time. So we'll take that tour that afternoon. The contractors are going to prepare the site for us so that we can get around, and we'll do what I would call a hard hat tour of that as well. So you can actually see it really looks amazing on the inside. It's starting to look like something with walls, and you can start to get the finished product look. So looking forward to that. And I did forward a letter that Mr. Sexton drafted for the budget season between him and the finance team, kind of laying out what the budget looks like over the next several months. We typically set a goal for adoption. This time, I believe it's June 2nd. And then we kind of reverse engineer it to kind of lay out the time frame for public hearings that we have to do as far as setting the tax rates. And then all the different layers of budget submittals for services that the departments had put in, what we have to do for the capital. So we kind of work our way back and but set the budget schedule for the year. So we had our first meeting last week to talk about revenues and kind of looking at the 6-month real numbers on what we're experiencing to date. And that gives us a good indication of what we'll see for the next 12 to 18 months. And then we put out the call to the budget team, department heads to submit their expense requests. So for us, it's a little later than a lot of local governments do. Some of the larger jurisdictions start sometimes even in the fall. So for the town, we've kind of refined our process. This time frame works well for us. And so I just wanted to let council know that we're on the job, working on the budget. And it seems like it's a 12-month process just about, but we're really in the throes of it for the next couple of months. And as we talked about earlier with the strategic plan, how we'll make some direct correlations between the strategic plan and the budget adoption for this year. So other than that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer anything, but those are the 3 primary updates I wanted to provide.
Any questions for town manager? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good update. With that, I'll turn it over to town council, Councilman Lyles.
That was on the parade one year.
Oh, goodness.
It was. Hey, I just want to say, I went on vacation and just like what a great town we live in. And I went on vacation and we had, everybody's going to do everything for us. If I can do anything, just let me know. And we had somebody that's going to do something for us, like put our trash out on Wednesdays, and they didn't. So I was looking at, Lisa asked me, I was in the airport and I looked on our cameras and our trash was still sitting where it was. And luckily I had.
Wasn't me.
Wasn't you?
Was it Tommy?
refuse drivers' phone numbers, and I texted him, and it was done in 20 minutes.
Wow.
And our daughter next door, hers was done too.
Awesome.
It's kind of cool living in a small town like this, and you can do stuff like that.
Personalized service.
Yes, it's, I want to recognize them, and I'm gonna do something, I don't know yet, but I'll bring them something. But-
Well, let's get together.
Free lemonade.
I recognize them the last time I haven't done it yet.
Okay, yeah, that was kind of, it was,
Thank you, Councilman Lyles.
Why'd you look at me? Why'd you look at me?
I was looking with me for being last.
Ah,
And
I'm sorry, Mike.
Everybody has a safe weekend, and especially our staff and
Yeah.
up there. You know, we're the best at snow removal, so I'm sure when we wake up Sunday morning, it'll all be gone. So I don't know about Sunday.
What'd you get?
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
What
What
they're
is
calling,
fine.
it's gonna be a lot of, like, it's gonna be dangerous and a lot of work on you guys. So thinking about y'all and
Yeah,
hopefully everybody stays safe.
you bet. Thank you for that, Councilman Lyles. Councilwoman McCarty.
It's just been a good night again, recognizing everybody, and I'm really glad that we continue to go through this company for this strategic planning. They're good guys and do great work, so.
You're right about that. Thank you, ma'am. Vice Mayor?
We say it every time, and it's more and more true every time. We have the best staff. Everybody we recognize tonight. Upcoming for the weekend, like Keith said, but if we keep talking about snow, maybe it won't. So be careful out there, and I know we'll be bragging about it at the next one. And also, I'm excited for the upcoming projects. Like we were just said a few minutes ago, the hotel is just springing up overnight. It's amazing. I keep sending pictures to all my girlfriends that I went to school with and that don't live here. And they're like, when are we going to stay there? And I'm like, well, as soon as it opens. So they're all excited. And I was telling Mike we should bring our own hard hat to these tours because we got one at the groundbreaking for the hotel so we can BYOHH.
Bring your own hard hat.
Thank you.
That was very good. Thank you. Councilman Stovall.
I got everything's great, like Sabrina said, and I got a little piece of nostalgia and history that I want to show you. So I learned something tonight. There was a gentleman by the name of Carl Brown. My dad worked at Benton Weaving, Burlington Industries, 44 years. So I found out tonight, Carl Brown, who y'all may have known, lived on Nelson Street over where CVS is. That's his daughter sitting right back there. Brother, Carl Jr., Carl, the dad, right. So Carl Jr., who I went to high school with, unfortunately passed away last year. And so Jill was cleaning the house out over on Nelson Street. So back in the day, Mr. Brown, Carl Jr., myself, my dad, my brother, we used to hunt rabbits at Crumpacker's Orchard. And of course, we had beagles, naturally, and you had the collar on the beagles. She brought me, after cleaning the house out over on Nelson Street, a collar that my dad has his name on it, Joe Stovall.
Oh, wow.
And the most great thing about it, it's got Venton, but it's got the DI. So our phone number was 342-0653, and this is DI2-0653. So thank you. I mean, what a great.
Well, that's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah,
See the
cool.
ends broke off of it, but anyway, that is amazing. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. I wanted this to be reflected in the minutes so you can have something. So thank you.
That is
Hey,
awesome.
the end of that story, found out that today's Carl's birthday.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, is that?
Brother's birthday, right? And it's an unfortunate because he's 60, I guess 65, 66, yeah. And it was an unfortunate incident that he passed away. But anyway, great. Thank you very much. What a nostalgia and something I'll cherish forever.
Great.
Awesome. Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's
Oh, wow.
cool.
And she actually's got a picture of the Crumpacker Orchard out on 604, whatever it's called. That's where we hunted. Mr. Crumpacker and my dad were good friends, and we've got pictures of, I've actually got some pictures of where we shoot the rabbits and then stand up on the front porch of the house and lay the rabbits out and all that. So anyway, thank you very much. That means a whole lot.
Yeah,
Oh,
cool.
that's cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, thank you, Jill. Thank you, Mike, for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Do you know what the DI stands for? On that phone number? 3-4. Oh, boy.
Store.
Yeah, but that DI was actually Diamond.
Oh, Diamond.
Yeah, short for Diamond, yeah. It's short for Diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And I'll just say, since I'm up close to it, that collar is probably cleaner than my beagles yesterday, who gave him a bath and had to soak his collar. That one looks better than what he had on. And he's a house dog.
Wow.
oh, wow.
Thank you so very much.
How about it?
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah, hell nice. Oh, great. What a great family thing.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Mike, for bringing it
Sir.
up. And so those were for beagles, right?
Beagles.
Yeah.
Yes, rabbit beagles.
Good thing they weren't chihuahuas or it would be all chewed up.
Well, the reason for the name on the collar was rabbit beagles loves the smell of deer. So, I mean, next thing you know, you look up, one of them's taking off where Walmart is now over that way, and they're gone. And so, and they say you could take a jacket. My dad used to leave a jacket for them. This is kind of crazy. And they would come back they'd smell the jacket and come back to it. But sometimes they would just go so far, and that was the reason for the phone number. And we go pick them up at somebody's house. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, we truly do live in a great town, and a couple great examples of the advantage of a small town, both for what Keith was saying as well as what you shared. So it's really neat. Thank you for that. I too would just kind of ditto, but certainly want to emphasize to everyone to please be safe as you can this weekend. It sounds tricky, so hopefully, I know as a small town, we all get involved in everything that goes on, but particularly the police department and public works are going to be pretty busy, I imagine, this weekend. So hope you guys will be safe. And Chief, thank you for the cup. Were you going to tell him how we were going to use that?
Oh, yeah, we're going to pour coffee in it when we get pulled over by somebody else besides Vinton. And they say, may I see your operator's license registration, please? Sure. Would you hold my coffee cup for me, please?
I don't think that'll work, do you?
Try it.
Yeah. But anyhow, thank you for the cup. Okay, things have really deteriorated. Anything else? Anything else to come before council this evening? If not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by leaving. Thank you, folks. God bless you. So, what a great evening, by the way. Thanks a lot. Yes. It was.